Hello and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Aurora. Make sure that you are subscribed before we get into things so that way you can be notified next time I post a video. I know that the only thing I've been posting for the last few months has just been home renovation vlogs, because that is what has like taken over my life the last month. But we move in a few weeks. By the time this video comes out, it will be like a week or less, who knows? I'm not totally sure when this is going live, but I thought that it was high time that I sat down and did another plant video, because last night I posted on my Instagram stories a video of me giving my Fiddle Leaf Fig a shower. And I got so many DMs asking me why I was doing that. Would this help your Fiddle Leaf Fig? What are the benefits of putting your Fiddle Leaf Fig in the shower? So I thought it would be helpful to have a video where I talk about Fiddle Leaf Fig care. I do want to clarify that I am not an expert, I'm not a botanist, I am just a houseplant enthusiast. I've done a lot of research on Fiddle Leaf Figs, specifically before I bought one, because Fiddle Leaf Figs have a reputation. They can be very fickle. I have two Fiddle Leaf Figs. So the first one I got about a year and a half ago. It's this bad boy, okay? So little Fiddle, my little Fiddle. Before I bought my little Fiddle Leaf Fig, I did a lot of research because I had heard of the reputation of Fiddle Leaf Figs and I thought they were pretty. I thought they were, they're such a popular houseplant, especially because of Instagram. And so I wanted one on my own, but I was terrified of killing it. So I did a lot of research. I'm going to link in the description a blog post I read from Mandy of Happy Houseplant. She goes in depth on how to take care of a Fiddle Leaf Fig and also does a lot of troubleshooting of different issues Fiddle Leaf Figs can have, what the causes can be. So if you are having issues with your Fiddle Leaf Fig, I definitely recommend reading it. If you're thinking about getting a Fiddle Leaf Fig, definitely recommend reading it. It's just a great resource for anyone who owns a Fiddle Leaf Fig. First, we're gonna talk about why I gave my Fiddle Leaf a shower, and then we're going to kind of talk about some general care tips from my knowledge. It was very simple. I just put them in the shower. Once the water was warm, you do not want it to be hot. You also don't want it to be cold. Your plant will not like either. It should be a little above room temperature. Because Fiddle Leaf Figs are tropical plants, so think tropical weather. I got it about 2 months ago, and recently I've noticed it being kind of droopy, I've noticed it being droopy before I would expect it to be needing another water. So I normally water it about once a week whenever the soil feels dry. The leaves on the top of that fiddle are pretty big, and so you're going to experience some droopiness on bigger leaves. Naturally, they're not all going to be upright. The bigger leaf gets, gravity and all that. I've noticed it drying out a lot more quickly than it was when I first got it. So I put it in the shower for a few reasons. It is a great way to make sure that your plant is getting a really deep water. Overwatering is not a myth, but if your plant has drainage, overwatering tends to apply more to the frequency of your watering rather than the amount of water that's going into your plant. So if you have a drainage hole, which your fiddles should have drainage, I am someone who, some of my plants don't have drainage because I don't really feel like they really need it, but a fiddle is a plant that you want drainage. So if your fiddle does not have drainage, swap it to a pot that has drainage. So putting it in your shower, as long as it has drainage, you're not going to run the risk of overwatering it and causing root rot, because as long as you give it a chance to let all that water drain out, you won't overwater. But it gives you a chance to really deeply water it and make sure that the soil is really saturated and you're reaching the center of that root ball. Another great reason to give your fiddle a shower every once in a while is to clean the leaves off. So the leaves of your plants need to be clean in order for them to photosynthesize. So if the leaves are dirty, they can't do that, and then you're gonna run into issues with your plants. So you don't have to give them a shower to do that. You can also just wipe them down, but a shower is a lot more effective, quick way to do it, instead of manually wiping down each leaf with a cloth. Increased humidity. Again, it's a tropical plant. It loves humidity. So because I was noticing that it was droopy, I thought, great, I will hit all three of those things. I will give it a little bit of extra humidity. I'll make sure that it's watered really deep and clean off those leaves in the process. Now that it has had that shower, it's looking so much perkier and happier. I'm going to give it a few more days, kind of gauge how it's looking. And if it starts drooping pretty quickly again, I was noticing that my Fiddle Leaf Fig, who used to like being watered about once a week, was starting to act droopy a little bit before that. What I'm going to assume is the issue, what I feel like is most likely the issue when this happens with any plant, just happened with one of my pothos a few weeks ago, is that it's likely that it needs a bigger pot. It's likely that it is getting root bound, because essentially what happens is the roots have taken up so much of the pot that there isn't enough soil to saturate and hold on to that water. And so it's drying out a lot more quickly because it needs more room to expand and for soil to sit in. That is what I suspect is going on with my plant. I did give it a shower just to kind of hold it over, give it a good deep watering until I can go get a bigger pot, because you want to go up about 2 inches when you repot, when you get a bigger. Another indicator that your plant needs a new pot is dropping leaves. So like I mentioned, I've had this Fiddle Leaf Fig for about 2 months. In the 2 months that I've gotten it, I've gotten 4 new leaves. In the last 2 weeks, I have lost 4 leaves. They're leaves that are at the bottom of the plant. Dropping leaves on your plant is not inherently a bad thing. It's part of growth. Your plant is basically saying, I don't have the energy to hold on to these lower leaves because I'm focusing on putting out new, bigger leaves. So it'll drop the old leaves. It's not inherently an issue. When it becomes an issue is if you're not getting new growth, or new leaves are dying, or you are losing a lot more leaves than you're getting new leaves. So I'm at a point where I'm not necessarily concerned, because I've gained the same amount that I've lost. Again, your plant is saying, I don't have the energy to hold on to these old leaves and put out new leaves at the same time, because I just don't have the space to do that. So they're letting go of the lower leaves. And another issue that I want to talk about is that Fiddle Leaf Fig has fertilizer beads in the soil. I am not a fan of fertilizer beads because I like to be able to control the fertilizer that is going into the soil. I like to control the frequency, the amount, and you just can't do that with fertilizer beads, especially when often growers will put them up in the roots, and that can be really damaging to your plant. So usually when I get a new plant and I notice it has fertilizer beads in the soil, I will wait a few weeks to a month. I don't want to shock the plant before I repot it. I will take it out of the pot. I will clean all those fertilizer beads really gently out of the soil and then put it into fresh soil. And in this case, probably a bigger pot. So that's kind of my next step. I need to go buy a bigger pot for him. I need to refresh that soil so he doesn't have fertilizer beads in the soil. He'll probably be much happier. I will share on my Instagram stories and probably my TikTok when I repot my Fiddle Leaf Fig, when I replace its soil, what the roots look like. So make sure that you're following me on TikTok and Instagram so that way you get those updates when I post them. I keep both of mine near a north-facing window, I think. They both get bright and direct light all day long. They both love bright and direct light. Fiddle Leaf Figs have a reputation as treenagers. 100% accurate. You don't want to piss them off. When you test the soil to see if it needs to be watered, what you want to do is you want to stick your finger in the soil. And if it feels dry the whole length of your finger, then it's time to water it. If you follow Happy Houseplant on Instagram, she has a ton of highlights that go really into depth on watering, plant care, when to tell when it's time to water, all of those things. She's a really great resource for plants. She is how I learned a lot of things about plants. She's a resource that I turn to when I have questions. So 10 out of 10 recommend. Again, that will be linked in the description. I feel like this has kind of been all over the place, but I also don't feel like I have anything else to say about Fiddle Leaf Figs and their care right now. If you want more plant content, comment below so that way I know that's something that you are interested in, that you guys want, so I can make more plant content for you. So if there are any tips that you have for Fiddle Leaf Figs that I didn't mention, please also comment them and let me know if there's any questions that you have or anything that I didn't talk about that you wish that I had. I will reiterate, I am not an expert, I'm just an enthusiast, so this is what's worked for me. And again, I will post some updates on my Fiddle Leaf Fig on my Instagram and my TikTok when I decide to repot it. Anyway, that is it for today's video. Let me know if you liked this video. Make sure that you are subscribed. I would really love to get to 1,000 subscribers this summer. That would be for me, because I have been putting a lot more effort into YouTube and I've been making a lot more videos, and it's something that I've been trying pretty consistently to get better at. So it would really mean a lot to me if you subscribe, and let me know that you like this video. Give it a thumbs up. Anyway, I will see you guys next time.